Alright, so this is going to be a part 2 to my Pyrrha is Alive video, so if you haven't seen that one, go check it out. But I was in the middle of writing the Volume 8 Episode 1 discussion video when I needed to search up the Pyrrha, or the Juniper death theory. And then I got to Pyrrha's part, and that just made me pause everything and just set up recording, sit down, and I'm reading this, I'm doing this video. Basically, there's many reasons why Pyrrha is alive, which I get into in the previous video, but there's something that I mention, it's part of what she's been up to during the past few years. At the very end of the video, I talk about how she's probably going to make a return as a Grimm, and she'd be pushed into one of those Grimm pool of goo, and she'd be turned into a Grimm, much like Salem. But I didn't really have much evidence for that. I just thought that would be some really cool storytelling and whatnot. But now, no, there's some evidence. Well, evidence. This is, like I said, based off of the Juniper death theory. The link to this post, this Reddit post, will be in the description below if you want to read the entirety of it. I'm only going to be reading part of Pyrrha's little description here. Pyrrha, she was based off of Achilles, or an untouchable man from Greek mythology. Pyrrha shares an aspect because of how in the battle she would use her semblance to barely deflect hits, so she would become untouchable. Though, if you have read the mythos about Achilles, he was shot in the heel because of how that was the place he was held up when he was dipped in the river of Styx. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word right, but I'm going to keep saying it like that, because that made me really curious. What is this river of Styx? The name Styx means abomination, which is a characteristic apparently describing the river's toxic water, which was as black as ink. Does that sound a little familiar? Okay, so I'm literally reading up a little bit more about what the River of Styx does. So apparently, oaths made by this river bring something worse than death to the oath bearer if not fulfilled. If anyone bathes in the Styx and survives, that person will bear the curse of Achilles and become invulnerable to most physical attacks. And this already sounds a little bit like Salem. She's immortal, she bathed in the water, and now she's this. So you could compare Salem to Achilles, but at the same time, Pyrrha is already clearly based off of Achilles. But if I continue reading, they become invulnerable to most physical attacks, excluding a small spot on their body that, if struck, will instantly kill them. So, first of all, just to get this out of the way, maybe Salem has this weak spot. Maybe she's completely immortal except for one spot. But that aside, Pyrrha. Like I said in the video, I mentioned that she would be pushed into a pool of Grimm goo by Salem and turn into a Grimm like Salem is, with the white skin, the black veins, whatever. I'd like to think that her hair would be red up here and then it would grow back, but as white, like Salem's. And I think that would just be a really cool design. But essentially, she would become this immortal being. And at first I was like, okay, Pyrrha's not going to come back as an immortal, but because she would have a weak spot, being like probably in the solar plex area or something, if Jean were to stab her, because obviously if Pyrrha comes back as a Grimm, it's going to be Jean who would put her down. But I could see an absolutely amazing battle with that. But the point is, there's evidence for that happening. There's evidence that Pyrrha will turn into a Grimm because of who she is possibly based off of. And so because if the Grimm goo is the equivalent of this river of Styx, if Pyrrha goes into that, she becomes immortal, and if Pyrrha is Achilles, and that means that she will become immortal because she is Achilles, and that is what happened to Achilles. So essentially, I do believe that this is foreshadowing, this is probably going to happen in a future volume, because I do believe Pyrrha's alive. There's lots of evidence. Go check out the other video. It's in the iCard, I think, somewhere. It might have been at the beginning of the video that I put it, but go watch that video because there is a lot of evidence. The beginning pieces of evidence are a little iffy, but it's really at the end that really shows, yeah, Pyrrha's alive. And now with this, we can confirm, in a way, what will happen when she returns. She will turn into a Grimm because that's based on the lore of her character, that she becomes this evil abomination that becomes basically immortal because she goes into black goo, which the goo is in the Grimm world of Salem's territory. So I'm very excited about this. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope everything was clear, but I just wanted to make this quick follow-up video. This is exciting stuff because this means that we can almost say for certain, with all of the evidence so far, that that Pyrrha will return and she'll become evil, which is what I predicted, because they're not going to bring back Pyrrha and just have her remain good. That's not going to happen. They're going to bring her back and kill her again. But Jean is going to have to be the one to put her down, and this is more evidence to say that's probably going to happen. So I am excited but also scared. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe. If you want more RWBY theories, subscribe like I just told you to. Stay tuned for more good content, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.